Okay, check. Yeah, there we go. We are going to get started. County Commissioners, May 14th, 2025. No, it's May 15th. I apologize. What day is it, everyone? May 15th, 2025. We have a packed agenda today, so we're going to start to roll through this. We always start our meetings with silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance, so please join us in silent prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Let's do introductions from the dais. Christy, we'll start with you.
Christy Rischel, Assistant Clerk. Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summerall Dumas, Commissioner.
Hamilton County Commissioner Alicia Reese.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Ann Schooley, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney.
And I'm Commissioner Denise Driehaus. Welcome to everyone. I'm going to move that we approve of the minutes of the previous session.
Second.
Commissioner Driehaus.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move into presentations. The first presentation, and he's already up there, is a proclamation recognizing Peace Officers Memorial Day. Chief Deputy Ketteman is here. He's got a team of people with him, and I'm going to leave it to you to introduce the team. But let us go ahead and read the proclamation, and then we'll ask for you. Thank you all for being here. So we've got a proclamation recognizing Peace Officers Memorial Day. Whereas May 15th is federally recognized as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls is recognized as Police Week.
And whereas the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio has declared law enforcement officers' safety and wellness a top priority and promotes the importance of individual agency, family, and community safety and wellness awareness. And whereas the members of Hamilton County Sheriff's Office play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Hamilton County.
Whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and that members of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, call upon all citizens of Hamilton County and upon all patriotic, civic, civil, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 11th, 2025 as Police Week, who by their faithful and loyal devotion of their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities.
And be it further resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Hamilton County does hereby honor those peace officers who through their courageous deeds have lost their lives or become disabled in the performance of duty, and does hereby proclaim May 15th, 2025 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in all of Hamilton County. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Madam President. My name is Chris Ketman. I'm the Chief Deputy for the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. I'd like to introduce a few of our men and women that help make this happen. First is going to be Captain Brian Stapleton out in enforcement. I have Major Aru behind myself. We have Captain John Lowenstein. You see him all the time running our courts and our security. We have Captain Steve Mennick running our patrols. Marviette, who keeps me out of trouble, our HR director, and Mary Carol Melton, who keeps a thumb on me. We really appreciate this. The sheriff would have loved to have been here. She had prior commitments, so she was unable to attend. But especially right now, what's been going on with law enforcement, us losing one of our officers, this means a lot knowing that we have the board's backing and the community's backing. We're out there every day trying to maintain peace and order and keep everyone safe. So on behalf of the officers, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and the sheriff, we'd like to thank you for recognizing that.
Thank you, and thank you again for being here. It is a poignant time. So thank you for being willing to come in, accept this, and take some time out of your days to recognize this week. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you. I'm just glad we were able to take this opportunity to recognize, and I thank you, all of you, for what you do in the county. Thank you.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes, just want to echo what was said. Thank you for all that you do, and I know that all three of us was at the funeral on Friday, and I know it's a tough time, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to come around for a photo.
Can we have maybe one of you come over on that side? Yeah. There we go. There we go. Oh, okay. Oh, geez. Okay, right here. And then one more.
All right. Our next item is a presentation about an accessibility advisory board. We're having this today because it got bumped from a Tuesday meeting, and so we're making an exception here today for this presentation. But we thought it was really important to get this in front of the board, and I think all three of us have spoken with Neil Kelly and Bree Moss about this initiative, but we wanted to bring them in, bring it to the attention of the citizens of the county, and so we welcome you here today. Thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you so much for having us today, and thank you for individually meeting with us over the last couple of months. We have prepared just a little presentation about more research that we've done and our plans going forward. Are we going to pull up the PowerPoint that we have? Yes, that would be great. Okay, thank you so much. You can go to the next one. My name is Neil Kelly. I wear several hats. Among them, I am a city council member for the city of Deer Park, board member and chair of the SORTA Metro Paratransit Committee, and I am the board president of a nonprofit called Independence Alliance that serves individuals with disabilities in Southwest Ohio and Northern Kentucky.
I feel like maybe you should just be my mic stand if you don't mind. No, it's okay. I'll grab it. All right. Thank you. Hi, I'm Bree. It's lovely to see you all again, and thanks for having us. I also serve with Neil on SORTA's board, as well as I am the vice chair of Cincinnati's Accessibility Board of Advisors. I'm the president of the Northside Community Council. I'm a certified ADA coordinator and a program coordinator at the YWCA.
All right, next, please. So we thought it would be helpful to just go through just some quick statistics about the disabled community. So according to CDC in a July 2024 report, more than 25%, about 28.7%, percent of adults in the U.S. identify as having some sort of disability. An Ohio survey from 2019 found that 36.1% of adults report experiencing at least one disability. In a 2022 health equity report here in Hamilton County, they found that 12% of county residents report experiencing a disability. We think that might be an underestimation, but that is just our opinion there at the end. And more than 10,000 more than 10,000 individuals were served by the Hamilton County Developmental Disabilities. And it's a fact that we've known both of our lives, but people with disabilities face higher rates of unemployment, underemployment, and barriers to housing, healthcare, education, and leadership opportunities. And finally, discretionary income for working age people with disabilities is about $21 billion, which is greater than that of African American and Hispanic market segments. And we have links included there for yourselves if you'd like to do further research.
So if you think about it, like a genesis of this presentation that we're now bringing to you, the background is largely from Neil and I's collective experiences, as well as the observations and experience I have serving on Cincinnati's Accessibility Board of Advisors, which I will likely refer to frequently as CABA. So just if you hear me use that acronym, that's what I'm referring to. But when I joined CABA, it was 2017, I think. Some of the biggest issues that were being brought to the table were the borders and boundaries of SORTA's paratransit, reasonable accommodations for visitors of the Justice Center, as well as some emergency preparedness issues. And so if you consider that those are largely intersecting with not just the city, but also county, you can imagine that these things continue to come up and these ideas continue to intersect. And so, sorry, allergies are bothering me today. You don't notice as much until you get on a microphone. Okay, so in my time there, I've tried to help narrow that scope and really kind of try to focus on city things. But the more I do that, the more I run into these intersections of city, county, state. And so at some point I reached out to Neil and I said, hey, what do you do when you encounter these things at a county level? And so that's where some conversations came up, and he offered some perspective on that.
So in further research, I reached out to individuals that I know in the communities of Blue Ash, Cheviot, of course, my perspective from Deer Park, Gulf Manor, Madeira, Montgomery, Norwood, and St. Bernard. And there were some common themes that they shared with me. Many of them have aging government buildings that cause lack of equal access. For example, lack of street access to the buildings. One of them described quote, abhorrent bathrooms in terms of accessibility without the funds to necessarily make them as accessible as they could be. They shared common themes of public spaces not designed with equal access in mind. So things like public park features such as walking paths that aren't wide enough for a wheelchair to pass with an individual walking or even a stroller. Playground equipment that isn't designed for children or adults with disabilities in mind, physical or other disabilities. And an idea that I hadn't even thought of, so closed captioning. Many of these organizations record their meetings and they don't have the funds to pay for closed captioning. So they kind of do the best they can with that. And also they reported business sectors that are mostly small businesses that lack the resources to fully implement accessibility enhancements to go beyond what is ADA required. So a couple suggestions that they recommended: provide advice and expertise to other municipalities. I think that is a great role this commission could provide. And also an idea that I hadn't thought of is peg county grants to meet certain accessibility measurables. So the commission could use expertise through what I call everyday experts and other subject matter experts to come up with measurables that you all could use in existing grants or even new grants if that comes up. Next, please.
Thank you. So again, just kind of going back to the background and where this came from, kind of explaining more of what CABA does. When Neil and I had these conversations and he was talking about all these aspects and things, he then said to me, well, what does CABA do? And so CABA is CABA is charged with, by appointment by the mayor, the goal of making Cincinnati more accessible and equitable to individuals with disabilities. And so what we do on a monthly basis is we evaluate and advise on these grievances brought formally to the city or by observations we, the members of CABA, have in our daily lives. And so we have conversations with individual departments at the city to advise on very reasonable adjustments that can be made to operate more inclusively. And then the slide has a picture of something I'm really proud of that we worked on at CABA, and that's where the checklist for rehabbing any streets or sidewalks, DOTE, Department of Transportation Engineering, will now include audible signals saying walk or wait. And that's helpful in alerting someone with low vision or who are blind. And instead of the loud, harsh chirp sound or siren, it kind of feels like sometimes, this is a much more mindful to sensory sensitivities to use this option of the voice saying walk or wait. Next slide, please. So another accomplishment I'm very proud of is tackling an intersection in Mount Auburn. And so where Dorchester meets Sycamore in Auburn, this was a newly redesigned as of 21, I believe, 21, maybe 22, that was done without curb cuts, believe it or not. And so in some spots there was actually staircases, and due to the steep grade of Sycamore, that was thought to be the only option. But we were genuinely surprised, obviously, maybe a little astounded that there was staircases at the end of a sidewalk and no other way to get around that. So we actually did a site visit and really itemized out the areas that needed to change. And clearly I am not a traffic engineer, but I did make these drawings over top of theirs. And that's how you can tell I'm not. But it's not too hard to advise that maybe stairs is not the best option for all populations, really. So often these things, just take a little second look by some folks that might experience things differently.
So Bree and I brainstormed some potential initiatives that could be taken up by this commission. And this is also gleaned from conversations we had with the three of you. So access to facilities, programs, and services. Maybe exploring better access to the stadiums that fall under the purview of the county. Infrastructure projects, new or remodeled ones that use county resources. Records requests, BMV services, I believe that's the Justice Center, HCJC, and emergency preparedness, exploring ways to make all of those venues more accessible for all types of disabilities, and develop public awareness and education that addresses the current misconceptions about individuals with disabilities, and like we've stated, provide expertise, subject matter, or lived expertise to administration, municipalities, and other partners of the county.
Thanks, Neil. And then leveraging universal design is the concept that environments, products, and services can be altered, amended, or created to be usable by all people and to the greatest extent possible without the need for adaptation or specialized design. Because this isn't about advising on ways for something to be laser focused on accommodating one detail, but instead increasing accessibility to benefit all folks. And then cross coordination with other commissions, boards, government bodies, developing a baseline of consistent application of level setting tools of accessibility that those entities and all those who interact with them can benefit from. Is there still another item? Yes. Okay. Increasing representation and leadership by creating accessible paths to tables. I refer to that as somewhat of a parable in short form, as we all know, having a seat at the table is really important. Well, what do you do when you can't even get to the table? And so not just are you not invited, but you literally can't get there. So next slide. Yeah, okay. Does mirror you? All right. So just to put a finer point on what the commissioner board could offer in relation to gathering diverse perspectives, you can also consider the reason we no longer use the term handicap, as it applies to a deficit within any given person experiencing disability, whereas we know it is the built environment is where the deficit exists in terms of lacking in its accessibility or availability, and all the ways in which a person may be interacting with the obstacles or barriers. So whether that be relating to someone's vision, hearing, mobility, or cognition, or experiencing life through neurodivergence, mental health, chronic health conditions, or being immunocompromised, the baseline key ways to address accessibility become clear, like the items there on the left, and so building a bench of folks that are, as Neil said, everyday experts, is a great way to get a variety of ways that strategies become more comprehensive solutions for our entire county. Next slide. And so we can't do anything without partnerships, right? So we thought it important to lessen the vague concept of partnerships by kind of detailing out some ideas that we had here. So just in terms of what we believe will be integral and effective to the integrity of this work, I think municipalities, boards like CABA or SORTA, and the Human Services Chamber, population-specific orgs, sports leagues and organizations, cultural organizations, business associations, and the regional chamber. Cincinnati State has an interpreter training program that is an amazing resource for ASL interpreters, which shout out to the county for having ASL interpretation in your meetings. And they true cornerstone kind of organizations for folks with disabilities. Greater Cincinnati Accessibility and Inclusion Network, people working cooperatively, Independence Alliance, SLAD, and other organizations focused on accessible innovations. Like there's an organization called May We Help that helps design new and innovative ways to be accessible. And there's a lot of them. I won't bore you with that list. We can talk about that list later. So yeah, I'm gonna hand it back to you.
So as we wrap up, I'm going to be honest, I had a different conclusion written, but it was when I watched the news last night, it dawned on me that there are certain individuals in Columbus and in Washington, D.C. that are looking to make budget cuts and make budget decisions on their own by scapegoating individuals with disabilities and seeking to cut resources that are vital for us, both in Columbus and in D.C. And while we can't do anything about that here, I think the county has an opportunity to send an important message that folks in our community are welcome, are valued, that you all seek our opinions and pathways to leadership, and that you guys can do everything you can to bring us to the table and welcome our our opinions. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today and for listening with us the last couple of months. We can take any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to us. We fortunately had an opportunity to meet individually with you, so we fleshed out some of the details related to this. But what a great idea to put a lens over the work we do as it impacts people with disabilities on all fronts, right? All different kinds of disabilities. So I'm a big fan of this idea. I think it's great. We've got some other commissions that do similar work and just providing us a different lens as we move forward with our work, making sure that we are a welcoming community, as you say. So, and you mentioned the interpreters. We so often forget to thank our interpreters, so thank you all back there. They're with us every time we meet, so we really are very grateful for your service to this community. We started that during COVID, and we've kept it since, so thank you. Shout out to our interpreters in the back. I just have two questions. One is, by way of partnership, were we to pass this resolution, which is not in front of us, by the way, today. The prosecutor is reviewing that resolution from my understanding, so we're not prepared to pass anything today. But were we to do this in the future, who are the other organizations or jurisdictions that have done a similar resolution so we have an understanding of who the partners are throughout Hamilton County or beyond, really? Are there others or outside?
Oh, well, in other cities, I've seen city-related ones, and there's a lot of counties that have a list of, I can share afterwards. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I did look into our peer counties, and they all have accessibility initiatives.
Okay, great. That's helpful. I think we could learn from them, but we also want to know who we're in partnership with. And then I was going to, we'll speak to the details of the resolution when we get it in front of us, but I appreciate all the legwork you've done. You've clearly reached out to other communities. You've thought through how big the commission could be, how it would function. So I know you've put a lot of work in here. So thank you again for bringing this in front of us. I'm really grateful. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation. I certainly enjoyed you when we met individually, and I can't wait to get this on our agenda. I just had one comment. Under perspectives of county residents, and you named all the different areas who had different perspectives of what needed to be done. If I could get a breakdown, like you have Lincoln Heights and you have Norwood, I'd like to know what each one says so we can more effectively help them. So
I can definitely get that to you.
okay, thank you. And whatever we need to do to make everyone equal, I'm all for it. So hopefully we'll move quickly for that. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Reese.
Yes, I want to thank both of you for your work, and I've had a chance to work with both of you on various capacities, and super excited because when I was on city council, this is how many years ago, this was a major issue that we took up, and now it has blossomed and grown. At that time, you didn't have to have curbs on the sidewalks. That was something I was happy to be a part of helping to initiate with the accessibility group that we had formed. At the time, we didn't have Uber, we had cabs, and they were not picking up people in wheelchairs, and we changed the law on that. I had a chance to kind of go through some of this with my mother, who was in a wheelchair for 12 years, and I got to see a lot from her lens of a lot of stuff that we might take for granted. I think it's important as we move forward, we keep talking about we want a walkable city and a walkable county. We have to be very cautious of that because, we have more and more people that have disabilities, and then more people who have knee injuries. I'm one. My knee is killing me today. But more and more knee replacements, hip replacements, and all that. And if you become just walkable, you will be leaving some people behind. So there must be a balance between those who can walk and those who can ride a bike, but also those who need to be pulled up to the front door so that they don't get X'd out. So I think it's a good time as we're looking at the banks. We need to look at that and have an entity, a group that can look and make sure that we're not Xing people out, but inviting people in when we closing off all these streets and having people walk. The other thing I think it could be helpful as we are building garages, which is not my favorite thing, but making sure that it is accessible. We're not making it too difficult for people to come down and be a part of it. The other thing, we have been very active in a silo way over here at the county. We've worked with LAD. We've funded housing that's unprecedented. Nowhere in the country has these smart homes, and we're going to be opening up soon in Colerain Township some smart homes with the LAD. We have worked with DDS, our 513 relief bus. The bus itself, we had people come out to make sure when we were building it that it is accessible.
I've been on it.
And you've been working it too. You work it all the time. But we had the DDS day, where we have a day dedicated to people with disabilities and trying to connect all the resources. Some of the things that we've worked on. Very happy that both of you are on sorter, and you're our appointment, Neil, on the sorter board to make sure that is moving in the right direction. As mentioned earlier, the interpreters are important, but I also want to mention the Cincinnati Black Music Walk of Fame. We brought in consultants that deal with disability and made sure the height, it has braille, it has, if you're hearing impaired, it has the vibration, all of those things. And we're happy we're soon going to have a day down there. I know Bree's been down there partying, but we're going to have everybody come down there and be able to participate in this. So we've done some things in silos, but I do think it's time that we have a full assessment of our county and have a group that's kind of staying on top of this, kind of like our Women and Girls Commission. They bring us policies and we keep adding to those policies. But we also need to make sure that we're leveraging things when we approve projects, that those projects are going to be accessible as we move forward. So I am, as I told y'all when we met, I said I was happy to be a part of it at the city, but we definitely need it at the county. And then there could be trainings with the other municipalities that are smaller, that you can help them as well. So I'm very interested in seeing this resolution and happy to move as quickly as we can to get this moving. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again for the presentation. So we'll be in touch as that resolution makes its way back over to the county and make sure that you're aware of when we have that on our agenda. So thanks again for bringing this to us. Really appreciate it.
And we'll submit the documents you asked for, Commissioner Dumas, within the next day.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we've got, Commissioners, with your deference, I'm going to move things around a little bit. I know the prosecutor is here for a couple of by leaves, and so if you don't mind. Okay, and we've got HCR here as well. So I will bump all those up. You've got yours during your comments. Is that what you're saying? Okay, well, let's move through this one, and then we'll back up and go to that, and then go to HCR. Okay. Prosecutor Pillage is in the room. Jeff, will you set these up? These are by leaves 2 and 3.
Sure, Commissioner. So in your packet today, you have several by leaves. On this one, if we're advancing these, Commissioner, referring specifically to by leaves 2 and 3. So these are 2 resolutions to employ special legal counsel through application to the Court of Common Pleas. The first resolution is to appoint, in your packet, I believe they're in this way. The first is to appoint Dinsmore and Scholl to act as special counsel for matters related to Paycor Stadium and the banks. The second is a resolution appointing Voorhees, Sater, Seymour, and Pease to act as special counsel for the county in matters related to the Cincinnati Reds and Great American Ballpark. So these are for you today, Commissioners. I would just say in making this application, the county will be pivoting from its long-standing relationship with the firm Frost Brown Todd. I do want to personally thank Frost for all of their work in the past on these projects. We've made a lot of progress down at the banks together. This isn't reflective of anything related to the work of that firm, but just more reflective of the fact that there comes a time in major projects when a different perspective on major issues is needed. My understanding is that the board and the prosecutor's office are aligned from that perspective. So these resolutions authorize the application on behalf of the board and the prosecutor to come and please for special counsel in those respective areas.
Thank you.
And I do know that Prosecutor Connie Pillich is here. I don't know if she has any comments that she wants to make on the matter, but I know she's here.
We also, before we get to that, we also received a speaker's card on this item. Tom Gableman is here. So Tom, if you'd like to come forward, Madam Prosecutor, we'll get to you in a second. You've got the pleasure of the floor for 2 minutes.
I'll try to keep my remarks within the 2 minutes. I would just like to say, as the project counsel to the board for the last 28 years, it has been an honor and a privilege to serve this board until about an hour and 15 minutes ago when I received a call that our services were being terminated with respect to the Banks project, with respect to our negotiations with the Bengals, with respect to the Reds, and so on. That was completely unexpected, given just within the last week, in our view, it was a banner week. We reported to this board last week on Monday that it was a result of the innovative action that we had taken with respect to property tax appeals. The county would be receiving $25 million in property tax refunds this year. We had taken one more innovative action that Frost Brown Todd and those in our office, Margaret Grossman, has served with us since 1997 as well on your behalf. I would just say our entire retention has always been more than just about protecting the interests of the county and being loyal to the county. It's a return on investment and a cost benefit, so that always our services, those costs were far less than the benefits that were received. From day one, we had done that. And within this same week, the $25 million in property tax refunds, Senator Blessing dropped yesterday a bill to have 2% privilege fee on sports gambling that our office, Frost Brown Todd, again, innovated, came up with it. It was born at Frost Brown Todd 2 years ago. We presented it to the board. We presented it to the governor with Alicia Reese there and said, Governor, this is a way in which we can sustain the funding of professional stadiums, not just in Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Columbus, but throughout the state of Ohio. It was groundbreaking legislation, no different than the legislation that we are pushing forward that got the property tax refunds with respect to the board. For 27 years, President Driehaus, I would like to have the courtesy to extend my remarks, since this will be our last report to this board, if you will give us that courtesy.
So we'll give you another minute. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that very much. So, as I was saying, this legislation put in by the governor in the budget for this year, once passed, would bring $1 billion back to Hamilton County. That was done on behalf of trying to get our stadiums, which we are very much involved in terms of getting the agreements done, not the 1997 agreement with Paycor Stadium, but with the Reds agreement that saved the county probably $200 million in the innovations that we presented with respect to the Reds agreement. And every single project since then that we have done has resulted in direct savings that we've demonstrated to this board over and over again. We are finalizing the economic impact report that will be presented to you. And the results of that economic impact report, by the way, is just not about $2.3 billion that is generated every year. But since 1997, together with the city, we have advanced a $2.8 billion project that has over 26,000 jobs. All of that work, there is not another project in this country that has had that kind of results. And it's been through the work that we have done. We worked all weekend on this economic impact analysis so that it could be presented to you. And as far as, acting under the direction of the county administrator, we continue to advance negotiations with the Bengals in order to have a paradigm shift in how that stadium will be sustained for the future, for decades. We have prepared all of the contracts with respect to the implementation of the renovation program. We have guided that program. All of that has been done. We've done that at a significantly discounted rate at $250 an hour, and we have learned recently that Voorhees is getting paid twice that amount.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your work. on behalf of the county. Madam Prosecutor. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner Treehouse, Reese, Dumas. I'm really here. I'm happy to make remarks, but I'm also here to answer any questions you might have about the process or what we're planning on doing going forward. So I'll follow your lead,
Are
ma'am.
there any questions, Commissioner Summer-Dumas?
No, but I think it's important that the process be somewhat spoken about since we have residents listening, people weren't here listening,
Yeah.
and heard their earlier statements. Some talk about the
Sure.
process.
Well, as you know, I've been on the job for 4 months and 9 days. You might not have known the exact number of days as your county prosecutor. And since I've been in office, I have met with each of the commissioners separately, of course, to see how our relationship was doing and how we can improve things. And I have listened carefully. I've certainly heard your frustrations, your concerns about needing to improve communications, clarity, and desired results, related to a lot of things, but in particular at this point to the Bengals lease. And that's why I am recommending to you to support the resolution put forth by the county administrator to take a little bit of a different tactic. Sometimes when you have fresh eyes on a situation, you come up with a fresh idea, and I think this is the time for it to happen. As your county prosecutor and your lawyer, I want to ensure that you have the tools that you need to be effective, not just in your work here, but particularly in delivering a fair deal for the taxpayers, especially this year related to Paycor Stadium. And I bring up the Bengals and the Paycor Stadium in particular because we do have a deadline looming on June 30th, which is when the Bengals have to decide if they're going to take one of the extensions offered in the original lease. And given that we appear to have been treading water lately, because I'm not privy to everything that's been going on in Mr. Gableman's office, but I do want to concur in Mr. Ludo's recommendations to take a different tactic. And as you know, you need a team that's going to be supportive, and that is client-focused and has the skills and experience necessary to get the best deal for the taxpayers. And that's why I recommend to you, obviously, David Abrams, who my office hired a few months ago. He is a national expert and has brokered stadium deals across the country for NFL teams and projects and communities across the country. Roger Friedman, who is still a staff attorney, is not in my office today, he's home on sick leave, but he brings vast knowledge of the whole history of the work that the commission has done over the last couple decades. And he knows the technical legal processes involved. But today I am recommending you bring on 2 new partners. First, Dinsmore and Scholl Law Firm, a law firm that has deep roots in this community, having been founded here over a century ago. And Dinsmore does pride itself on striving for the utmost levels of professionalism, accountability, and skill in all the areas in which you need them. Dinsmore's lawyers are highly skilled in drafting complex legal documents, including leases, as well as their work on bonds, real estate, royalties, and development. And you'll have access to very experienced lawyers at a discounted rate, which I believe will ensure a very efficient use of county resources. My recommendation that Mr. Ludo mentioned is that Dinsmore be retained as outside counsel to work on the Bengals Stadium as well as the bank's development. And finally, the Voorhees, another local law firm named as the best law firm in 2025 for real estate, both nationally as well as in Cincinnati. And Voorhees is nationally recognized individual lawyers will work on the future lease deal of the Cincinnati Reds. So assembling a top-notch legal and negotiating team is going to give you the tools that you need to be successful. And that's my job, is to try to provide that for you as your lawyer. So again, time is of the essence. I hope you support these 2 resolutions. happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Yep. Commissioner Reese? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. All right. With that, I'm going to move that we approve of by leaves 2 and 3.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes?
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I did not realize the Commissioner Dumas has a presentation, so I was going to go to the HCR, but we're going to hold for a second and do comments and motions from commissioners. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you so much. 1 second, I'll take this.
I should have asked, we don't have any other public comments online, do we? Okay, thank you. Commissioner Summer Dumas. I'm sorry.
Like in all things,
We're moving on.
I was going to say, we will, of course, make a smooth transition on behalf of this board.
Thank you.
So I'll move forward with my comments. It took a little longer this morning, so our special guest is here. If you want to come forward, Victor Sims, and Alice is here to talk a little bit about it. He's one of our Inspire recipients, raising the level of wrestling. And so I don't know if you guys got a copy of that, but he has worked with 35 youth, boys and girls. The objectives is to strength conditioning, physical and mental health, wrestling training and practice. They work on behavior at school and home, and wrestling following directions, which is so important. And I'm saying your whole speech, so okay. And they have a state championship. They were on WLWT News. 11 kids went to state, and 6 youth placed. So, Alice, would you like to say something about how they were chosen? Or?
Good morning. Raising the level wrestling was just pretty impressive to me. They work with younger youth, and I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Good morning. Raising the level wrestling worked with younger youth, with wrestling, of course, and they've been doing an impressive job. So I will let them tell you about it more so than myself, because they're doing the work. And I'll press the button here. You ready?
I won't take up too much of y'all time, but I'm Victor Sims, the founder and head coach of Raising the Level Wrestling Club. And this is my partner / coach, Donald Simpson. So basically, just a little history. So we started back in like 2022, just trying to give our sons a safe place and a couple of kids from the neighborhood to wrestle. So from there, I think we started out with 10 to 15 kids, and from there it just grew. So the following year, we had 22 kids. This year, we ended up having 35 kids. Some of them from low-income housing, so that's where Mrs. Bledsoe came in. Without her grant, 25 of the kids probably wouldn't have, wrestle, because they were in there training barefoot in the urban air jump socks. So by her, blessing us with the grant, some of those kids, hung around, stayed around. And like I said, so this year, I think we had like she said, 11 state qualifiers, 6 of them placed. We had 3 state champs. And then Lachlan, Woodlawn, and Redding sent us off with a parade. So I just want to thank Ms. Bledsoe.
The pictures, yeah.
Too, because they voted for it.
Yes. Did you want to say something?
I just want to say how much of a privilege it is to be a part of this organization that we're running. Like Mr. Sam said, it all started small, but I knew that it would grow the way that it has, and it is growing. And I just here for the ride, and it's a blessing.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And this is what it's all about. It's so much more than wrestling. But as you were saying, you're teaching them to grow up and be strong men and women. And so that's why I came up with this initiative to make that happen. So thank you guys for all that you're doing.
Yes.
Might want to say something.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing in the community. I'm only tangentially familiar with wrestling because I have a bunch of brothers that wrestled. They were okay, but they did not go to the national or state championships. But it's a really important way for kids to engage in something positive. So thanks for what you're doing. I have a quick question though. I don't know if you said it. I must have missed it. Where are you located?
In the heart of Lachlan, Ohio.
Auckland.
Yes.
Okay, and what ages do you serve?
K through 6.
K through 6?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my, they're young. And is it boys and girls?
Yes, boys and girls.
Boys and girls. All right, that's a different approach. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
All right.
And Commissioner Reese?
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations and thank you for working with our youth. It's so important to show this positive side because there's so many people doing positive. I want to thank Commissioner Dumas for initiating this initiative, and I was certainly proud to support it right away. But I just want to, I think this is important because we need to see this side. It's more of this going on than negativity. So thank you for teaching the youth a skill, but also I'm sure as in athletics, they're learning discipline, they're learning how to deal with rules and regulations, they're learning how to compete, and all those things are great qualities as they grow up in life. And congratulations to you all. Congratulations to Lachlan. And thank you for being here today.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. You did a little wrestling yourself in your day, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
It's obvious.
Exactly.
It's obvious.
Okay. Thank you. And thanks, Alice, for following through on that. Appreciate it, you guys. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Dumas.
So I have just a couple other my activities for the past week. I went to the Easter Seals Redwood event at Turfway Park, which is a fundraiser for Easter Seals. It's just awesome. Easter Seals does some of the greatest things with young people and adults. Also attended the Hamilton County Small Business Day. I'm sure more will be said about that. It was a great turnout, and I truly enjoyed it. And also attended the 513 Relief Day the next day at a Corinthian. That was great also. And then I attended the Government Strategies Group Connection Luncheon with